Tell me if you relate to this. So much of my life was spent worrying so much about what people thought, but also people pleasing. I spent so much time trying to make other people around me happy and kind of conforming into whatever it is that they needed me to be when I was younger, that I realized finally that I was going about it all wrong. I was trying so hard to make everyone around me feel really good, and it was exhausting and draining my energy. And I was able to stop that habit. And so today's video is all about some tips, if you relate to that, how to break out of that, and also why. A lot of my clients are empaths like me, which means we're very sensitive to energy, and we sometimes will bend over backwards trying to make everyone else around us happy. And the reason is, and people pleasing is because when you're sensitive to energy around you, it feels really good when other people feel really good. And so by default, you tend to want to people please, make everyone happy, and therefore feel good around them because they feel good. And let me just tell you, when I realized I had been doing it all wrong, and that actually I need to fill up me first and choose me first, that's where true happiness comes from. And not only that, relationships improve, because when your relationships are based on you performing in a certain way and trying to make everyone happy around you, that's not a real solid relationship. But if you can start with the relationship you have with yourself first, and then go from that space, people actually respect you and love you for who you are, not for what you do and how you make them feel. They love you. They love being around you because of the person that you are. And that makes them feel good because they like you. And if you can make this subtle shift, it's actually not subtle at all, but it might feel subtle to other people, but it's a huge shift. If you can do this, you will have so much more energy because you're not, spreading yourself thin, trying to hope that you're making everyone happy. And you will just have so much more peace, and your self-esteem will raise. So let me know if that makes sense. Because it changed my life, I thought I would make a little video in hopes it might help you if you're struggling in this area. So I'm going to give you 5 tips. The first one is simply realizing that you are, in fact, trying to make everyone else around you happy first, before filling up your own cup. I'm not sure if you've ever heard me say this, but you cannot pour from an empty cup, which means if you've spread yourself thin, you cannot help people. You cannot even help yourself. So it's kind of like that oxygen mask analogy, where they say, put your mask on first and then you can help other people around you. It's kind of like that. So that's the first step. The first step is realizing that this is not a healthy dynamic and that you have a choice, and that's simply it. Just decide that you're going to try something different. The second step is realizing why you're doing it. What's the benefit of doing it? Well, if you want everyone to feel good around you, that's why you were doing it. And then knowing that there's another option. And it's usually to get approval, right? You want other people's approval. That feels really good. And when other people feel good around you, that makes you feel good. A lot of healers, I have a lot of clients that are healers, therapists, and creatives. Those are all those types of people tend to be very sensitive, and you just want to help and serve others. And so that's usually why those types of people relate to this, because they just want other people to feel good. Again, there's another way. So the third step is making a commitment, setting an intention to start with you. Instead of starting with, okay, help it, trying to manage other people's energy. The third step is committing to managing your own energy first. So, again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So I really want you to remember that. Remember that when you are starting your day. Commit to beginning with yourself first. And sometimes this is a whole practice in itself, because if you've gone so many years serving everyone else first, sometimes it's really hard to even know what you want, how you feel, because you're so plugged into everyone else's wants and needs first. So committing to discovering what it is that you want, discovering who you are and what you feel and what your needs are first, and then taking care of those needs first. And I'm going to tell you a little side effect to this is more confidence. I've worked with so many people who did not come to me for confidence. They came to me for like a transition in life, and we worked on this specific thing about people-pleasing, codependency, being sensitive to energy, all that. And because they started taking care of their own energy first, they started having such a good relationship with themselves that in turn, they felt safe with themselves. They got that they have their own back. And then they were walking out into the world as a completely different person, a confident person. So that's just a fun little side effect. And as a person who loves to help other people, you'll be able to serve so many more people. Even if you're not doing this as a job, just in your life, as a friend, as a sibling, as a wife, as a husband, as a daughter, as a son, whatever your relationship is to other people, I said friend already, you will be able to be more present when you are able to do this first for yourself. Number four is, I'm going to give you a couple tips on how can you show up for yourself first, and how can you let go of people pleasing. So I'm just going to give you a couple little tips that helped me, and I'm going to actually stay tuned. If you can like and subscribe to this channel, I will be following up with more in-depth tips. So the first tip is setting a very, very simple morning routine to start your day off. The reason you want to do this is because when you begin your day, setting an intention to tap into your own energy, because as empaths, sometimes what we do is we wake up already feeling everyone else if we don't have solid energetic boundaries. So when you set that intention, you wake up and you decide, okay, I'm going to get grounded, centered, and I actually have a very simple 3-step process that I'm going to go make a video on next week about a really easy, quick morning routine that I do every morning that helps me with my energetic boundaries and sets my day. It's getting grounded, getting connected, and getting protected. And it could be a 5-minute process, but I just simply, I sit down, I close my eyes, I take some deep breaths, and I I'll go through exactly what I do next video, but I'll just tell you, I get grounded, I do a visualization, and then after I get grounded, I focus on getting connected. So I am feeling aligned spiritually. It's very simple and quick. And then I also get protected, which means I do a process, and it's very simple and very quick again, where I protect my energy field. So I put a little protection around me because I tend to feel a lot of people's energy, sometimes the collective energy. So empaths, I know you understand what I'm saying. And so that is a great way to set your morning up. It does not have, your routine can be completely up to you, like customized to your needs. I work with my clients, my coaching clients on this all the time. We come up with their own unique morning routine and also happiness recipe, which is a whole nother video, but that's a great way. And it could be 5 minutes. So if you watch my next video next week, I'm going to get more into detail about morning routines. Another thing that you can do that totally works, and some of my clients are like, at first like, does this even matter? And then they realize it does. And this is going to sound so simple, but it's acknowledging yourself, celebrating the small wins that you have accomplished, the tiniest little things, starting with that also builds your relationship with yourself. When you go through your day and you just do a task and then go to the next task and then go to the next task and go to the next task, it's like a never ending, you're just constantly producing, even if it's like, laundry, dishes, picking up the kids, or sending an email and writing a newsletter and working on your website, or whatever it is that you do during the day, meeting or whatever, or you make cookies for a friend, and then you're helping your mom and you're helping your son, or whatever it is. If you don't stop, or even if you just go on a run, and which is like so healthy, right? But if you just go from that to the next, then you go grocery shopping, and you don't like stop and acknowledge what you're doing, it can feel extremely draining, right? And so what we're doing here is we are getting more in touch with ourselves, and we're building a relationship with ourselves. So when you can just acknowledge yourself and celebrate yourself and celebrate your wins, and they can be small wins and they can be big wins, but acknowledging yourself, especially if you're in a growth phase where I feel like my whole life is growth. I'm just constantly trying to grow, trying to stretch myself, trying to improve. That's just the way I want to be. I want to live this life to the fullest. And so I have really excelled my relationship and my feeling of confidence when I started celebrating. Just every time I get myself out of my comfort zone, I acknowledge that. When I go on a walk, and I said I was going to, if I have a goal, like every day I'm going to go on a walk, and I do it, I'm going to acknowledge myself for that. So it's a very simple, small thing, and you might be like thinking it's not a big deal, but try it. I dare you to try it. One more example I would say is honor yourself, honor your needs, listen to what your needs are, and be your biggest advocate. Be your biggest cheerleader. Be your accountability partner. Just start setting this relationship up with yourself. Be the person that you are for other people to yourself. Watch yourself talk. Are you talking nice to yourself? Just start paying attention. So this all goes under step 4. Now the last one, step 5, start paying attention to who you surround yourself with. Sometimes we when we're so wrapped up in people pleasing, we're not even aware of who we're surrounding ourselves with. And so start paying attention how you feel around people. And I'm going to take another step out of, like with this step, I'm going to say something else with it included under this step, which is when you start growing and changing. So if you start beginning your day with you first and then start getting more confident, what can happen is you might start really being aware of how people treat you and how you feel around other people. And when you start kind of unplugging from trying to make everyone happy, sometimes dynamics can change for the better, and sometimes relationships can fizzle out, and that's how you realize sometimes those relationships were built on you really trying to make them happy. And then once you stop trying to make people happy around you, sometimes they're like, wait, what's going on here? So, but then sometimes people are really happy for you, like, oh, you're doing so great. So it's just kind of a little note to make on that. Really, the bottom line is that you are worthy of having a wonderful, joyful life filled with love and light. And it really starts with you. It really, truly starts with you. And so if you desire more peace, more energy, feeling grounded, protected, secure, it's going to start with you. And so I hope this video helped. Let me know in the comments if you relate to this at all. I'm sure if you're an empath, you understand what I'm saying. And if you're not an empath, maybe you're starting to think maybe you are. Maybe you know someone that you that reminds you of this, that you can maybe share this video with. Please do like and subscribe, and I will be making more videos with more detailed information on how to create your own very quick morning routine to set your morning off great. And I'm going to be going on here, I think, every Wednesday. So my company is called Wildflower Studio, so I am calling this Wildflower Wednesdays. I have a free Facebook group called Thrive Like a Wildflower. Sometimes I go live in there for Wildflower Wednesdays. And I am going to include a link at the bottom of this video for if you'd like to sign up to get reminders and news and other free resources. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I am so glad you're here. Thank you so much.